joining us now on the MARR Army Rock Show. I'm very excited to have Colorado band Vermillion Road with me. It could get a little chaotic here. We're coming from all over the place. So through the miracle of Skype, we're actually in 5 different rooms. So we're going to have a little group chat here with Vermillion Road. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So, actually, it was one of our writers, Christina Coy, that referred me to you guys, and as soon as I started listening to Palaces, I was hooked on the band. It's a great release that came out in May. So, for folks that don't know the band yet, give us a little bit of the history of the band.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a bit of a history behind the band. Hunter and I originally started this metal band a long time ago when we met at this rock band camp in the summer of 2009, and we did that for a few years, and we went through some of our own kind of growth during those stages. We took a lot of that metal influence and we kind of created this thing, Vermillion Road. I was actually originally the drummer for the band, and that was and we played much more metal kind of stuff, and so that was what we did. And eventually we just kind of came to the decision that it was like, okay, let's do hard rock stuff, because that was really where our hearts were at the time. And so just kind of evolved from there. We found Mark and Chad over time. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but we just kind of cultivated in what is Vermillion Road.
Now, immediately, my favorite song on the album came up as "Tread on Me," and who wants to tell me a little bit about that tune and kind of who wrote it and a little bit more about it?
Take it away.
That song, that was one of the first ones that I had brought to the guys. Lyrically, as you kind of get a sense, it's aggressive, not an angry aggressive, but more of just a kind of, to do what you want to do in life, do what makes you happy. If somebody's got a problem with that, then, you can just curb stomp them. That's like the rock mentality. But it was fun. I just, that initial riff that you hear in the beginning, when I first started toying around with that, because it's a bit unique in that the main riff is the pre-chorus. And so I kind of had an idea in my head, and then I gave Will a call, had him come over to my house, and I was like, here's kind of the words I'm thinking, here's the big tread on me that I'm thinking, and then we just started crafting it together, and then came to the band, and that song really fell together pretty quick, because we put it on the album just a couple days after we really finished writing it, so.
Now tell me a little bit about the music video for it, where you shot that, and was that a self-produced deal, or did you guys have a director? How'd that go?
Yeah, so I'm really stoked about how that went down, because one of my favorite people who have done music videos on YouTube, Siren, we kind of had we got in contact with him through Brian McRae, who happened to know him, and he's like, favorite video guy ever, and we get to have him fly out to from Huntington Beach to here, to Colorado, and we did it all ourselves. We didn't have a director. We just kind of jammed out in a warehouse.
Couldn't be any happier with the final product too. It's just, to be honest, we'd seen this guy's work and just how crazy talented he was, and how much work for the craft of video production and stuff. But then when we watched the video for the first time, and I think for a week, everyone was just like, "Oh my God, Trad!" So it was really gratifying to just have something that polished.
Hey man, it came out really well. Now, in looking at your history, you already alluded to this a little bit. It's interesting. Tell me about the transformation, Will, that you made from being a drummer to frontman, and how that happened.
Oh, thank you. So I consider myself to be a drummer before a human being. That's a very large part of my identity, and it's by far my favorite instrument. But I'd always dabbled a little bit in singing. It was just kind of an area that I didn't happen to be terrible at. I have this pretty cool thing called perfect pitch, and that helped a lot with it's just technical ability and control and all that kind of stuff. So I'd always kind of toyed around mentally with the idea of being a vocalist, but really it was. We would have guys come in to audition for the band when I was the drummer, and I would have, as Hunter eloquently puts it, oftentimes it was I would be the guy that would show up and have to sing the parts for them. And then one day Hunter was just like, "Dude, just be the singer for the band. Like, you're showing guys how to do these parts, and it's like, okay, because it was really uncomfortable in that kind of territory, and it took a few years, and even the EP that we did before Palaces, before the Storm, to really kind of, I guess, sort of find my shoes as a vocalist, if that makes sense. Like, just kind of, grow into what my timbre sounds like. So it's been a pretty intense transition. I'm not gonna lie, but it's been very fulfilling, and so much growth and so much to learn just from exploring a whole different side of performance as opposed to percussion and rhythm and all that stuff.
Definitely different for drummers a lot of times, coming out from behind that kit and doing the whole frontman thing. I've seen it before. So,
Phil Collins, Dave Grohl, Johnny Hawkins, for all you Nothing More fans.
Yeah. Well, Will, you mentioned, I consider myself a drummer before a human being, and, we recognize that you still want to drum, so for a lot of our shows lately, we've been working in, auxiliary drums or extra percussion, so he gets to drum on a few songs, and sometimes we'll have Chad come out and sing and play guitar for a bit as well, so we like to switch it up and give everyone a taste of a little bit of everything.
Yeah, no, that's definitely become a part of the live element, and just, I gotta give Chad mad props here for being able to shred and to belt it out with his pipes. Like, it adds this whole new element of stuff that we can do, and it's very exciting.
So, hey, another tune I wanted to ask you about that I'm going to share tonight is the mellower tune. The tune Palaces is a really cool one as well. So let's get a little bit of the lowdown on that tune, because it's another one of my favorites.
Okay. Does anyone else want to, or do you want me to do this?
Well, yeah. I'll start it off.
Okay.
So it started off as just kind of the chord progression that I wrote on I think an acoustic guitar, and then I took it to Will, and kind of just fell apart. Will added his take onto it.
It was so fast. Like, that was one of those Sweet Child of Mine tunes where it just came together literally in 10 minutes tops. Like, it was just so fast. Like, I don't know, just sometimes these chord progressions come to you and it's just like, okay, all of the feels right now. From a lyrical standpoint, I was going through a bit of a breakup at the time, and I mean, just the woman and I have all the respect for her in the world, and I wish her the best. But I mean, we just weren't compatible, and she had her own issues to work through, and I had mine, and ultimately the relationship wasn't good for either of us. And so that's really kind of where that comes from, because I think everyone has been in that situation where it's like, you think that something is good for you, and it turns out not to be, and it's like this is sort of thing that you've worked to build up. In this case, a palace. It's not benefiting you in the long run. So it's really a song about change, falling out of love, that kind of thing. It's a pretty personal song, but I think it's relatable, and I think the imagery is it's strong enough for people to kind of, I guess, resonate with. At least that's what we hope, anyway.
So, into some other kind of fun things. I saw a post the other day. Do you guys actually bake cookies before a show? Is that a legitimate thing you guys truly do?
Oh, man. We need to keep doing that. There's been the last couple shows have been kind of lacking in that department.
Yeah, we played a couple shows, and I actually don't really remember where the idea came from, but Will decided to bake cookies one day. So we baked cookies and brought them to the show. And I think part of it was we were in a battle of the band, so we wanted a little more leverage by baking some cookies. But it's just kind of been something we've done for a few shows. We've baked something to bring to the fans and, have people eat stuff, because who doesn't love sweet things?
I mean, a big thing, part of who we are as a band, and a big core part of our message is love, connection, self-empowerment, and all that kind of stuff. And we figure, why not just give a little piece of our hearts to the fans? And cookies are a good way to do that. So
So, you guys made an amazing post back on June 3rd about the tune called NHB, and I was just really taken with that post that you put out there about what that tune was about. And for whatever level you're willing to share, would you be willing to kind of tell folks the message behind that tune?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'll just kind of take the reins on this because again, I did the lyrics for that. So, if you don't know this about me, I'm on the autistic spectrum. I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when I was 3, which is, if you're not aware, is a high-functioning form of autism. That's actually the reason I have this koi fish tattooed on my right shoulder. So, I mean, the biggest thing for me, I was really fortunate in that I had parents growing up that were like, okay, here's what your tendency is, and here's what most people do, so figure it out. And really, I mean, it's kind of meant to be that sort of hard-ass, kick to the individual, just kind of saying, yo, don't be a slave to your tendencies. Like, actively, growth is never done, so just keep pushing to grow all the time. Don't ever stop bettering yourself. And if there is something that's holding you back, then just, make the change. NHB, like no holds barred. Just don't hold anything back when you make that change. That makes sense.
It makes great sense. I think it was amazing that you put that post out there. You probably helped more people than you ever would even realize by sharing that post with a lot of folks. So hats off to you for doing that, man. So, hey, tell me just a little bit about the Colorado music scene, man. I've only been out the Denver area once, and you're kind of in between the coasts there, more on that side. So what's the Colorado music scene like, rock-wise?
Oh, Billy, oh man, it's crazy. It's like every freaking day of the week there's like a show going on. It's kind of, I spend a lot of money going to shows, and there's a lot of great bands, like our friends Resonance, Scarlet Canary. It's just like, it's such like a great family. Everyone like knows each other. It's huge though. It's not that small, but like, there's always something going on. Tons of great bands, so many talented people. I could ramble on about it, but
it's good to hear.
Jealous.
No, it's good to hear that the rock's alive and well there, because we travel around the country and know which parts of the East Coast rock's popular in and which parts it's not so much anymore. So that's cool to hear. So hey, so what do you guys got coming up the rest of the fall here? I was looking to see, and I know you already got the one album out. So what's the fall hold for you guys?
We have a show coming up this next weekend. Be back at it. We haven't played for about a month and a half. Working on all kinds of on the business end, kind of some public relations stuff, and already working on some new tunes. So it'll be fun to get out and play live again. And as far as into October, we're working with some of our friends in a band called Red Tide Rising, another Denver band.
Yeah, I know this guy, or I know who they are.
Yeah, and we're gonna try to. They're gonna go on a 2 or 3 week jaunt, and we're gonna with our schedule. So Mark and I work full time, and Hunter and Will are full time students. But we're gonna try to jump on a Thursday through Sunday and hit like Albuquerque, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, and get out of our fair state of Colorado. Yeah,
man. I hope you guys manage to get out to the East Coast here too. I saw. I know the Red Tide Rising has a gig or two out here on the East Coast soon. But hey, you're the kind of band, man. I'll tell you what. I expect to see you all on the festival circuit next year, and I mean that sincerely. You guys got a lot of talent, and I just have been really impressed. The album is called Palaces, and the band now has a web store out there. Where's the best place you want to get people to go to get your music? Do you want to go to the Facebook page, or where do you want to send them?
Really, you can just Google Vermillion Road. We'll come up. It's really your choice. We're on iTunes and Apple Music. Search Vermillion Road. Palaces will come up. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We just recently put the whole album up on SoundCloud. It's pretty much just anywhere you want. We understand. Growing up, we had so many bands that were like, "Oh, they're only available here, only available here." So we worked very hard to make sure that the album is available anywhere and everywhere for everyone's preference.
Well, get out there and check it out, folks. The band is Vermillion Road out of Colorado. We'll be spinning some tunes tonight. And Will, Mark, Hunter, and Chad, guys, thanks so much for being here on the Marmy Rock Show tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.